In this video, guys, I want to talk about breakouts. They look tempting, but most of the time, they're a mug's game. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. All right, so my opinion on breakouts. I talked about breakouts a lot before. There is a bit of a breakout strategy in there, but under the right conditions, a lot of parameters we want to look for before we execute that. But most of the time, guys, breakouts, they look good, right? I know they look good because you see, think, well, if I buy this, it's going to run on and on. I'm going to get a good profit. It's going to be an easy trade. It's going to be no heat. It feels like the perfect trade. Zero heat, big profit trade. We all want those. I can go in with big size, so I'm not going to take any heat. It's going to break cleanly. It's going to rally on. I'm going to have a full size. I'm going to add to the position. It's going to keep going. I'm going to make lots of money. Everyone's going to be happy. They never really work like that, do they? However, I'm saying that on the corner of my eye, I know there's a DAX chart right here that's broken out pretty cleanly. However, we are at the end of the quarter when I'm filming this. There are some parameters that might add to justification for a breakout, which brings me quite nicely to a point, guys, is that I'm not saying breakouts are a bad trade. They're a very, very good trade under certain conditions. The problem is that most of us look for breakouts too often. We're looking for breakouts in chop. We're looking for breakouts in the midday environment for day trading. We're looking for breakouts during summer. We're looking for breakouts when historically or traditionally or generally we're not going to get them. Now, of course, there are going to be exceptions to the rule, but the majority of the time there's certain conditions where breakouts are just going to chop you up. You're going to end up buying the high and getting frustrated by it, or it's going to fall back quite a lot, grind around a bit, and eventually kind of chug up slowly and not be the trade that you wanted and probably not going to be in it. And so the trick with breakouts is to be very, very strict about how you're taking it. You know, most of the time, and this is a generalization and it kind of works for me, you're buying on red and you're selling on green as a broad statement. You're waiting for price to come to you to buy, you're waiting for price to come to you to the higher side to sell. Very occasionally, I'll be kind of chasing stuff as it goes through highs, because most of the time, even in trending markets oscillate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And just by logic, if we start chasing stuff too much, and yes, there are trades, of course, that are very much have to be chased, you know, that kind of momentum trade, the pause at flag at highs, that kind of stuff, yes. And that is a valid breakout. You've got a lot of boxes ticked for that, and it makes sense to take it. But for a normal trading day, we're testing highs, we're testing lows, testing midpoints, maybe having a little bit of a rally, pullback rally, pause, double top, all these kind of things that we get in the normal market conditions. You know, if you look at how many breakouts actually work, it's probably, you know, a couple versus fake outs, which are much more likely to yield fruit. However, again, we need to be cautious about when we're taking those. But if you were going to default at every new high, you know, if you're in the right conditions, then selling new highs in the right conditions is way more profitable than buying new highs in breakouts. And the conditions are far more frequent than they are for that kind of thing. And it's kind of, if you look back on the turtles, I've done a video about the turtles where they were buying, I think it was a 20-day high and holding it. And that's been back tested now. The market conditions changed and have showed that actually it's got a negative expectancy. We don't have the trends as much as we did before. Some commodities do, sure, but generally speaking, over most markets, that's not a profitable strategy, which tells us something. Market conditions now are changing, far more two-way, far more looking for liquidity at highs, pulling back a little bit, pushing back up, chugging around, far more erratic kind of moves, which suggests, back to the initial title, guys, is that, you know, buying breakouts all the time is a mug's game, because you're going to get caught in the volatility, euphoria, the excitement, or everyone's got their stops in just joining the crowd. And yes, again, I've said it, repeat myself a little bit, but you know, buying the breakouts is right under certain conditions. It's just finding those conditions, or just not trading them at all. So you know what, I'm not going to trade breakouts at all. The majority of the time, if I took every single breakout, I know that it will be a losing proposition. So let me look for fake outs and then try and fine tune it. But the perfect world is you have both. You have breakouts, but with very specific criteria. I've got to see volume. I've got to see new highs. I've got to see this, and the other, whatever it may be. And the same with the other side. It's like, okay, well, I'm not taking breakouts. I want to take fake outs. What do I want to see? I don't want to see this, or I do want to see that. And being very strict. And then you've got two foundations to work and build your strategies off and around. And too often, you know, we try to take breakouts because You know, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it feels nice. You know, it feels like it could be a great trade. If I take this breakout, it's going to go immediately, no heat, high profit, and we all want that. And we'll try and force what we want on the market. So that's my opinion on breakouts, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? Do you think it's market related? Do you think it's related to the kind of way you trade? Maybe on a higher time frame, breakouts are a better proposition than a lower time frame. Let me know your thoughts. Interested to hear what you guys got to say. All right, guys, take care. See you next one. Bye-bye.